Good morning. New York Open, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Enabled a couple additional features. We've got the real close dots showing this time because we're on a Heikenauer strategy. And so we have those showing so we know where the candle closed. And our open, high, low, close indicator showing Friday's high, close, open, and low. You can choose exclude certain days right here in built-in indicator parameters. If you want to enable it, you just go to show prior day, and then that will pop up on the charts like I have right here. You have options like show current day open, which is this white line here. You can disable if you don't want to see it. We've also got excluding Saturday and Sunday sessions. So if you enable this, it'll actually show Saturday and Sunday sessions. If you disable it, it'll just go back to Friday, and that way we have a better understanding of what's going on in the market. That's a couple of the options you get with this indicator. And then regular trading hours, it'll actually show the open, high, low, close for the New York Open session itself rather than the full previous day. For the real close dot, advanced chart settings under plot real close dot. And so you can choose whatever color you want, and that will enable seeing the little dot. Now, the reason I did that is, I don't know if anybody's heard of the box theory. And basically, you're taking the high and low of the previous day and using that to give yourself a bias of whether or not to buy or sell. The way it works is basically the high of the previous day is where you sell, and the low is where you buy. The reason it was the high is because you've got major sellers in that area pushing the price downwards, right? And same with the low. That was as low as it got, and at that point it began pushing it back up. Why fight with major buyers and sellers? Instead, continue what they've done. That's about a 70% success rate. From what I hear, I haven't had a chance to actually code anything in for that, which is something I want to do and see if those numbers are real. But basically, this high right here is where you want to sell. So I would expect, because we just about hit that high right there, that we're going down, possibly up to Friday's low. Let's see how it plays out. Again, anybody that's been following me, they know that my opening range, 1 bar breakout, we only take longs. We don't take shorts. As they're a break-even situation, typically over a 1-year back test, there's no reason to take them, as you're winning and losing just as much. You're just spending fees. Let's see what happens today. Now, of course, box theory does state that it's only about a 70% success rate, which means that it is possible that it can continue higher. For now, we'll just watch it. I am thinking of building a entry type around the box theory, the Friday high, Friday low, and basically creating something exactly like what we just talked about, where when the price touches, maybe we can use an offset value where if it gets within this range of the high or low, we consider that a touch. On the first red candle, for example, here, we can enter. So for example, if we had a specific range that we would consider a valid touch of the high, and then have a red candle close, we take a trade. If this candle closes red, it would be considered a trade on the box theory idea, and we would see it go lower. What I'm looking for now, since I have my NQ strategy, I really love this strategy that I run, but I'd really love to have maybe an ES or a YM strategy as well. I think that would be really great. And there's some uncertainty. Paused for several seconds, either my internet connection or something else, but I'd love to find a good ES or YM strategy to add to my lineup. I have the NQ or MNQ. I had a YM one that was working really well for a while, but it seemed to stop doing that for some reason. And that's the thing about strategies. Sometimes you can find something that works even over a full year, and all of a sudden, after a year, something shifts in the market and it's just loss after loss on it. And one thing I like specifically with what I've done here with this historical performance metrics label here You're basically getting the information directly from NinjaTrader. It does a back test of your chart. So I have a 30-day chart and can scroll back 30 days. And because of that, it actually back tests and lets me know my win rate over those last. So for example, I have $261. This is one micro with 11 trades at 100%, right? In my opinion, this is really awesome because if that win rate goes under 50%, I'm done running this for now. I don't want to continue running it until I see that win rate come back up. That's a cool feature. Let's go real quick back to the chart here. It does show a green candle here, but you have to remember it was a red candle since we opened up here, closed down here. So technically this would have been a short, and we did get a few ticks. Let's see what it did. So about 60 ticks. So it is interesting. It'd be something to, on the box theory, to figure out if you trade off this candle or if any candle touches or gets within that high range, the Friday high range, if that should just be traded right off of that. So like as soon as it touches, you just trade off of that. For example, we would have gone from here all the way down over 160 ticks. These are things to consider. It's something I can use as a filter. For example, create a zone, basically a no buy zone, only sell zone. So within the 20% range, the high and low range, the upper high 20% and the lower 20%, maybe that is strictly sell zone and buy zone. Anything above the highs and the lows would then continue being sells and buys, and then anything in that little range. Yeah. But look at this box theory idea where within that range we touched up here, we had a red candle, and then we have a really big candle here to downsides. I think I like that idea. I'm just trying to figure out how to get it implemented within what I already have. So for example, this indicator, the open high low close indicator, we can add a zone up here. We create a filter for the box theory, and we an entry type. No reason to rewrite something already available. If we create that zone, we base our entries off that. We can create a touch range, and then we can even trade right off of this. And because we have the ghost trading options, limit options, and all of that, we don't have to worry if this next candle for the entry type, we're only telling it how to enter. You have other settings like the ghost settings that will actually let you choose a little bit further, like in a special event that occurs. So we can actually tell it when this happens, we want to make sure there's a reversal that occurs, or we want to make sure that it closes under, or we want to make sure that we wait one bar. There's so many variations in the way we can do this trade. I can make a simple entry type and let the rest of the filters and features take over. So I do like this. I wanted to watch out for today and just see what happens. I turned on that indicator. Even if we would have taken a trade off of this red candle, if this was regular candles, you can still over 140 just off of this one. That's impressive. And if you would have taken off of that, about another 200, that's about 250 ticks. So we could probably do some kind of dynamic take profit and stop loss based on the size here of the box. If we're looking from the low to the high, a certain percentage, that's pretty impressive. If that continues down, that would have been a huge move. You can see them happen and apply them into your strategy and protect you from certain cases. If we created a filter specifically telling it that, hey, this is a no buy zone, even though it looks like it wants to go up, like just create a no buy zone and a no sell zone, and it can protect you. And then you can have a neutral zone, which is everything in the center. So if you are scalping or doing other types of trades, the box theory indicator won't affect that because you're out of those no buy zones or no sell zones. So that's actually really interesting way to apply it. These are the things that allow you to take your trading to the next level, feel in control of what you're trying to accomplish, whether you're trading for a long time or you're just starting out. These theories and ideas survived because there's something to them. If the theory fails time after time, it's forgotten, right? These are things that I look for when I'm trying to decide what I want to code in the future and want to apply to my software. Let me know your thoughts on the box theory. Have you used that before? Have you applied it to your trading? This was a perfect example. It worked beautifully. I'm very impressed. You're getting hundreds of ticks back to the current day open. I've seen examples when it hits that high, it basically runs all the way back to down to its low. So being able to maybe do really large trades like that. I mean, imagine if you were within that no buy, no sell zone, 20% off the low, we'd be close to the Friday open, for example, and set your take profit down there. That's an amazing take profit. You might have to wait or not doing a 2-minute trade, but that's pretty cool. I think I will work on that. If anybody has ideas or theories, that'd be cool to hear. Wow. 440 ticks. That's a huge move. Bounce off that high, go right back down. It'll create like a center zone, kind of a place where everything wants to come back down to equilibrium. Having this type of indicator and watching it day in and day out on your specific instrument will really let you see how a market reacts over time. It's nice to have the back tests available, but there's something about that human intuition that you get from how the market reacts to certain situations. I'm really liking this, so I might work on bringing that to our code. If anybody has thoughts on it, let me know. Strategy Ninja, this isn't just software. It's not just another bot. This is so much more. It's that moment you start feeling like all that chaos just goes away. You begin getting structure to your trades, new speed that you haven't had before because it enters automatically when it detects no hesitation from you. There's no fear, no uncertainty. Hey, did I check this? No. You have perfect control over it. It's split-second decisions that you can't make, but it can. You get all that back. You get your speed. You get support from the Discord, from the community. In an uncertain market, there's something about being certain that just feels right. And that's what you get with Strategy Ninja because you've already done the back tests. You've done the work. It's your strategy, right? But it's just executing it at speeds that you can never do, honestly. And that's the beauty of this, right? I'm impressed by what I've seen this morning. Probably not going to get a trade here. We might. It is still 37 minutes in session. This can come back up. Is it smart to go? I don't know. We'll let it go if it does, but it's interesting to watch how the market reacts. The cool thing about automation versus manually drawing lines and checking is that once you have this strategy built in, you're free to look at other things. This works about 70% of the time from what I've heard. But why can't we make it work 90% of the time? Is there something else out there, some kind of filter that we can use that can help us get a higher win rate? And that's the beauty of automation because you're not just doing the same thing over and over. Once you've perfected one thing, you have that freedom to continue perfecting it because you don't have to check it every time. If you're doing this all manually, you're checking this indicator, you're checking that, you're double checking this, you're making sure that this level is good. You're doing all this extra work that you cannot add more work for every time you need to take a trade because there's only so much you can do as a human, so much that you can observe quickly enough and react fast enough. And so with automation, all of that kind of goes away. You're free to just spend your time looking at other options, other filter potentials, other things that will get you that trade. I want to show you real quick right down here. I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but in case you haven't heard it, if you have the NinjaScript output open, for example, a trade occurs or should have occurred, you can look and see why it didn't. Remember, we don't take shorts. I have that disabled within the strategy. This candle opened within the opening range. It closed outside of the opening range. And so it should have taken a trade, right? If no filters were enabled. But we did have one. And look here, short signal blocked. Instrument direction filter did not confirm the trade. And so it lets you know exactly what stopped it. At the end of the day, when the markets feel chaotic, Strategy Ninja gives you control. More importantly, you breathe again, especially if you're new at this. Even if you're losing $1, right? Like I remember right at the beginning, I couldn't even bear it going down $1. It's interesting, but that's the reality of trading. Like that fear of losing anything is just right there. And so when you get that ability back to trust what you're trading, which is exactly what Strategy Ninja helps you do, being able to backtest something and seeing really great win rates with this. I'm seeing amazing profit potential on this. Like knowing that and letting the system take control, and then you're just there to manage it. If you see something like last week, my other strategy here, this one, which is not enabled today, I've been running that for a while and it's got amazing back tests, right? But right here between October and February, it's almost break even. It gets some wins, losses. Overall, it doesn't really win much. And I decided I was going to run it last week and almost treat it like this current strategy where it has a dynamic take profit, which again is something you can't even calculate fast enough when you're doing these trades, and sometimes they're like split second. But anyway, I had that enabled and it had 2 losses, but because I treated it as a dynamic take profit and I also watched the news and other things, I exited early in profit both days where it would have lost if you would have let it go. It's great to get into the trade. It's great to exit the trade automatically. Stops and take profits are put in automatically when the trade starts. If it goes real fast in one way or the other, you want to be protected. And that has happened. Like you'll get in a trade and now you got to put your stops and take profits and you're trying to calculate things and it's already going against you and you're like, wait. So all of that gets done for you, which is real nice. But once the trade has gone live, you're in, you've got your take profit already set, your stop loss. At this point, this is when human intuition comes into play. This is when you're like, okay, now I get to manage it. I'm looking at different ranges here. I'm trying to figure out if there's a fair value gap or something going on, or if somebody's going back down to close some gaps or whatever it might be. This is the time that you come in and you begin managing that trade. What you've back tested gets applied instantly when the trade goes live. Now it's time to choose how to manage that trade. Last week, I could have left both trades to do their own thing and I would have lost twice. But instead, I saw we've got news rolling out in 5 minutes. I don't want to be here for that. Other things are happening in the market. I didn't see a hard push to the upside. It was like struggling. And so I was like, I'm going to get out. Now, that's not always the case. I can come back and win. There's something about human intuition that can't be coded in. Sometimes you just have to manage it. And that's part of trading. The reality is that you're not chasing the market anymore. With Strategy Ninja, it helps you trade with intention. You get better signals because you've done the back tests. You get smarter automation because it's already applied. All the parts of the trade is applied at the moment you enter. But the real win is that you stop doubting yourself. You start trusting your process again because you've done those back tests. You've seen potential in this strategy, right? And so now all you have to do is properly manage it. It's all about risk management. You know better than anybody how to manage your trades, how many contracts you're going in with. You know what your goals are. You know what your risk abilities are. And so whether or not one person is trading this way and this person is trading that way, at the end of the day, you can give the exact same winning strategy to 10 people. And after 6 months, you come back and every single one will have a different story. If somebody overshot the winning potential considering the back test, you're going to have somebody that probably won just as much as the back test says. You're going to have somebody that lost everything. You're going to have somebody that lost on their first trade the entire prop account. That's the thing about strategies. At the end of the day, a winning strategy doesn't matter if the person behind it cannot control themselves. I've seen it time and time again. Completely great strategies in the hand of this person win great. in the hand of this person will lose every single time. It's not the strategy, it's the person. Strategy Ninja, some portion can be controlled by automation. Not all of it, not all the time, but there's a good amount. And at that point, you have to decide, am I going to allow myself to manage it to some degree? I like constricting when I'm managing. I never like to expand. What do I mean by that? If I enter the trade and I have a 100 tick stop loss and a 100 tick profit, for example, I've done the back test. I know what's capable, right? So when managing my trades, I'm not going to expand on that. I'm not going to say, maybe I should go to 150 for this trade, especially my stop loss. I'm going to give it more room, and then it continues downward. You end up with a loss twice as big, or I'm going to expand on my take profit because I think it's going to go. Instead of going, it reverses and you get a loss. You could have hit your 100, but you decide, no. When I manage my trades, I choose to get smaller because I know my maxes. There's no reason to expand on your max because that's where the problems start. If you're going to constrict, if you're going to say, okay, I'm seeing right here, there's something being built, there's a support zone. I don't need to have my stop loss almost double that support zone. I can bring that in a bit and protect myself a little bit more if it does continue down. At least if it crashes through that support zone, instead of just losing this much, I lost a little less. Same with take profit. If I'm not seeing that big push, if I'm not seeing that volume kick in, I don't want to stay at 100. Maybe there's some kind of demand in that area or a fair value gap that needs to be closed. I'm not seeing volume. It's not pushing hard enough. I'm going to constrict, move down, reduce, never increase, because those are my maxes. This is my max, the best rate. So I'm going to reduce, come down to 50 ticks and take profit. That allows you to stay within backtesting values. It lets you stay within the strategy, and it lets you just manage it a little bit better considering what you're seeing rather than just being like, I'm going to expand until I lose everything. Strategy Ninja really helps you trust your process, trust your strategies again, and keeps you in the right direction, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get a trade today. It's one of those Mondays. But the cool thing is that we did look at that box theory idea. That's amazing. What was that, 400 ticks or something I said earlier that you could have made off of that trade? That's impressive. And it's not even done. For all we know, this is going to continue crashing all the way down to Friday low. I would have been out by now. I don't like to trade within hours. I like minutes. Makes me a scalper. I've still got to learn how to allow the strategy to develop. Each person has to do it their way. It's not something I can program in. Yes, I can walk away, exit on its own. It does it all. I don't have to do it, but I don't like walking away. I don't think anybody should ever walk away when trading. I've seen too many things go wrong when you're not watching. I think the biggest problem is just internet connection. If you've got a good connection, that's golden. That should be a golden rule for trading. Anyway, I don't want to make this video very long, so I'm going to cut it short right here. I hope you guys will like and subscribe, add some comments, let me know what you think regarding the box strategy, regarding Strategy Ninja. If you have questions about our filters, indicators, control panel, chart trader, copier, I'd be happy to answer them. Right now we are doing a Christmas special. We're giving away 3-month subscriptions, 3 months for free. All you have to do is comment, subscribe on one of our short videos. If you go to the website, you'll get all the details there too. Hopefully we'll get a few people come in and be able to test it out. We did just open up a couple weeks ago, so we're fresh onto the market. So we're doing whatever we can to show you it's real, it works. I've sent out shorts of my videos winning several trades. I have had losses as well. Just before we went live, I had several big losses because I was doing a lot of testing. The reality is I have to test on my accounts, even though I have PA accounts, an evaluation account, a bunch of PA accounts. The only way to actually test the system live is on those accounts because there's no other way. I can't call Apex and be like, give me a bunch of these accounts and let me test them against my strategy and the system to verify that my copier opens and closes trades properly. I use my system. I did a bunch of tests in a row. I did a bunch of different kind of tests, and I lost a lot of money. Been building it up back since. Now that I'm done with the testing phase, this is really cool. honestly. Actually quite impressed. So I really want to put this into Strategy Ninja, the box theory, test it over a longer period. Maybe I'll find something that works with M or ES. That would be really cool. If you guys got like opening range strategies that work really well for ES, M, gold, or other futures, I'd love to hear about them. If you join, we can code that in, automate those trades for you. If you just need one thing added that'll let you be able to take your trading to the next level, we're happy to do it. That's part of Strategy Ninja, to get you what you need to be successful. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. No trade today, but we did have some validation on the box theory idea, and we went through a few different things, some indicators and things that I didn't show in the past. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if anything. See you next time. God bless, and hopefully your trading was great today.